why study science fiction fantasy? Well, one reason is that sci-fi fantasy authors and directors address the fundamental questions of human existence, those surrounding morality and ethics, the meaning and purpose of life, and our responsibility to each other and to our planet. Sci-fi fantasy also allows us to delve into both scientific discovery and possibility, and to assuage our penchant for world building and exploration. Plus, it's just really a lot of fun. All of the English courses, including sci-fi fantasy at Northern Highlands, have the same overarching goals: to teach our students to read critically, to write cogently, and to speak clearly. In sci-fi fantasy, we'll do so through units that engage the following texts. We begin the year with Shrek, which is a keystone text for me. In other words, I use it to teach at least 3 critical lenses: gender lenses, the classical psychoanalytic lens, and the archetypal lens. Please know that I have selected my texts for several reasons, including how well students engage with them and how well they allow Mrs. McKinley and I to teach more advanced ways of reading. The texts may seem easy, but the lenses are quite sophisticated, and learning them will help students to develop their critical analysis skills. In our next unit, we'll read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and fairy tales, while learning to apply Freud's stages of development. Again, the texts are clearly easy to understand, but the lens, which, by the way, students always find very engaging, is much more advanced, and it reinforces for students the symbolic depths at which one can read a text. Thereafter, we will learn about archetypes through a study of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The author, J.K. Rowling, deliberately uses both the hero's journey and the alchemical journey when writing her novels. As the alchemist Petrus Bonus once wrote, "To look with the eyes and see with the heart is the key to the philosopher's stone." And once again, the application of this critical lens will encourage students to read more critically and see beyond what is merely presented on the surface, to see with the heart and not just with the eyes. You'll also notice Star Wars on this slide, because this film makes an excellent companion film for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone when analyzed through the same archetypal lens. From this point on, I'm not sure which units we'll be completing. Part of this is because of the restrictions and uncertainties of our schedule, but part of this is also because I love these genres and have way too much planned. So we may view and analyze The Lord of the Rings. Tolkien is the father of high fantasy, and I love, love, love Tolkien, so I really don't want to leave him out. But Lord of the Rings takes a great deal of time even during a typical year, so I'm not sure if I want to invest that much time in it. We'll see. So, we may instead move out of fantasy and into the more sci-fi portion of the class, beginning with Batman: The Long Halloween, which will allow us to discuss the concepts of justice and ethics, the philosophies of utilitarianism and consequentialism, the idea of identity, as well as to develop our media literacy skills. Or we may move into short stories about androids and discuss the concepts of personhood, empathy, and human responsibility to each other, as well as the nature of reality. Or we may read some time travel short stories and discuss the philosophies of nihilism and existentialism. Finally, we may travel into outer space in order to focus on our understanding of the concepts of freedom and liberty, as well as the philosophy of friendship. But that's clearly more than we could do in any year, and while we'll do some of those things, we definitely won't be able to do that much, especially during this Phase 1 schedule. So depending upon what happens with the schedule later in the year, Mrs. McKinley and I will need to make some decisions on what we cover. Now, to the procedural side of the class, all students are expected to check Canvas on a daily basis to make sure that they know which assignments are upcoming. A quick tour of my page shows you my Bitmoji classroom with relevant links to materials, including an FAQ for Padlet, which is on here somewhere, I'll have to find it, a syllabus, which gives you the grading policy that I'll get to in a moment, information about my office hours, the place to go for tech issues, as well as some videos for tech tutorials. You can also see the Zoom link here, which students have already begun using, obviously, because that's how they get into class. Students can also access my office hours here. Office hours take place from 2 to 3:15 p.m. every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And at that point, students can talk to me about questions they have about homework, or if they need assistance on an assignment or an essay or a project, or if they just want to chat, they can come in and talk to me at any time. I also have a link for announcements, so sometimes I send announcements out to students, reminders about major assessments due and things of that sort, or you need to remember to bring this into class tomorrow. Announcements will also go straight to their phone if they have their Highlands phone set up on their phone. So they can also just check announcements on campus if they don't have that. Assignments, show them what assignments are due and when they're due and give them information. Those assignments are immediately placed in their calendar and will appear on the due date, so you'll see they've already had a couple of assignments due. So they can check their calendar or the assignments page. And then really importantly is the modules page. The modules page has all the links that I'm giving them, as well as if they ever actually get physical handouts, all of that will be here. Plus any PDF copies I have of texts. So they'll still get a hard copy of text like Harry Potter, but I also have a PDF that I'll be uploading here. So you'll see they'll have modules for here's the Padlet FAQs, the course syllabus I'll show you in a minute, academic integrity resources, because this week was academic integrity week, so we went over what plagiarism is and those sorts of things. But then you'll also see something that says dailies, something that says handouts. Again, it's in quotes because right now they're links, they're not actual handouts. The dailies are hyperdocs. They are like daily syllabi for everything that we do. And students who are absent or who had a problem logging into class if they were remote can look at this and see everything we did during a given class period, as well as any links that they may need to access. So this is kind of an invaluable resource. Plus, all those links that you'll see, they also go into the handouts page. So questions that we have just about Shrek in general. We are going to be using Shrek as well to talk about the gender lens. So they'll have other handouts about that when it comes time for that. So that's pretty much the Canvas page. The course syllabus will also give you, the modules will also give you the course syllabus, and the course syllabus will give you the grading policy. So let me take you there. My grading policy is pretty straightforward. I have two kinds of assessments, minor and major. Minor assessments are worth 30%, and those are homeworks, quizzes, and class participations. All of the minor assessment grades get averaged together, and then you multiply it by 0.3, and that becomes 30% of the semester grade. Major assessments, long-term writing assignments, including essays, tests, projects, if we have Socratic seminars, participation in those get averaged together, and you multiply that by 0.7, and that's 70% of their semester grade. Please note that homework is not accepted late unless I say so otherwise, particularly homework that we review together in class, because that's an effort grade, and if we're reviewing it, then I can't really accept it late. Major assessments will lose 5 points per day, although in this particular atmosphere, I do give more leeway with things like that, depending upon circumstances, and I've told my students already, I encourage them so much to talk to me if they need assistance, if they need extensions, just be responsible. So I thank you for joining us tonight. We've included our contact information on this final slide. Please feel free to contact us at any time. I will also be uploading this this Google Slides presentation, to the modules page so that you can access it as well at any time. We are so looking forward to having a wonderful, if very different, year. Thank you and good night.